You said earlier, I hope I have this right, Tom, if McCain gets the nomination, I don't know what I'll do. I might have to sit this one out. What do you mean?
Well, Neil, I think McCain has done more to hurt the Republican Party than any elected official I know of.
Hi, this is Josh Marshall from TPMtv. It's Wednesday, January 23rd, 2008. That was the disgraced former Majority Leader Tom DeLay saying how he thinks John McCain has done more damage to the Republican Party than any other politician in the country. Now, as you know, the resurgence of John McCain is the big story at this point in the Republican nomination battle, but the question is, can he actually win the nomination when so many conservatives, so many Republican Party regulars despise him so much? Now, Tom DeLay isn't the only one. Take a listen to Rush Limbaugh over the last week or so talking about a John McCain nomination.
I know that there are a lot of you out there think McCain, because you look at these national polls, you think McCain can beat Hillary. And beating Hillary, that's first and foremost, that's got to happen. No, I'm not, at this point, given the way things are shaping up, that's not a priority to me. Conservatism is a priority. And if what we do to beat Hillary destroys conservatism, then what the hell? I'd just soon have conservatism survive, go 4 years of abomination with Hillary or Obama. McCain, frankly, has shown conservatives little but contempt over many years. I'm here to tell you, if either of these two guys get the nomination, it's going to destroy the Republican Party. It's going to change it forever. It'll be the end of it. A lot of people aren't going to vote. You watch.
Now, I don't normally think much of what Tom DeLay or Rush Limbaugh say, but they're both very influential among conservatives, especially Rush Limbaugh. He speaks to millions of people on his radio show every day, and that radio show, of course, is made up overwhelmingly of committed conservatives, Republicans, the people who are going to show up in Republican primaries. Now, next Tuesday is the Florida primary for the Republicans, and that's going to be a big race for them. Whoever wins that is going to have a lot of momentum going into Super Tuesday, which is the next week. Now, in the two primaries that McCain has won, New Hampshire and South Carolina, he's won with about a third of the electorate. So the idea is that maybe that's his ceiling because there's so many conservatives who just find him an unacceptable candidate. So the question is, as the field narrows, as you get to just McCain and, say, Romney, who are contesting this, is the other anti-McCain candidate, is it going to be, 70-30? Is McCain face a ceiling at 30%? Now, there's a few issues, a few numbers, let's go down to put this all in perspective. Now, let's look at the two primaries that McCain has won, New Hampshire and South Carolina. Both of those are open primaries where independents can go into the Republican primary and vote for a Republican candidate. Now, in both of those races, McCain actually narrowly lost among Republicans. He made up the difference with independents. So that's a key issue. Can he actually win just with Republicans? And remember, Florida and pretty much all of the Super Tuesday states are closed primaries. So the entire electorate will just be Republicans. So the question is, can McCain get over 30%? Can he win in any of those states? So to figure this out, we went and looked at the actual polls. How much opposition is there to John McCain among Republican primary voters? And this is what we found out. So first up, we have a poll from the Hotline taken 10 days ago. And in that poll, McCain's favorables were 75% and his unfavorables were 14%. That was as good or better than anybody else in the Republican field. Now, a little more recently, there was a CBS New York Times poll. Similar question, 57% favorable, 13% unfavorable. And again, that's really better than everybody else in the field. There's, I think, Mike Huckabee he might have been tied with, but overwhelmingly, Republicans have a very high impression of him, and only a very small minority, something like 13 or 14%, don't like him. Now, there's one other poll, a recent CNN poll, and there's different ways that they ask these questions of favorable and unfavorable. Does this person agree with your values or disagree with your values? But pretty much across the board, the story is the same. If Republicans and core conservatives really don't like John McCain, there's very little evidence of it in the polls. Now, there's one possibility, although there's no evidence of it one way or another in the polls, that among that very small percentage, say 15% of the Republican electorate, that their disdain and enmity towards John McCain is so great that that could prevent him from sewing up the nomination. But again, there's really no evidence of it in the polls. So what you seem to have is a national Republican electorate that would be quite happy to nominate John McCain, but intense opposition from what I think you could only call the right-wing media elite, the Rush Limbaughs, the Tom DeLays, the various talk radio people, people who are really gunned up about immigration, issues like that. Now, those are very influential people, and there's still 2 weeks before Super Tuesday. So what are they going to do to try to knock down John McCain in that period of time? Or can they do anything? Or is this whole idea that conservatives hate John McCain just false? Now, one more fact to keep in mind. Yesterday we told you how most of the Democratic primaries are proportional representation. So if you win 60% of the vote, you only get 60% of the delegates. Well, that's not the case with the Republicans. Almost all the Republican primaries are winner-take-all primaries. So that means if you continue to have a divided field, John McCain could win every primary with, say, 33% of the vote, but he wouldn't get 33% of the delegates. He'd get all the delegates. So in a divided field, the way the Republicans structure their primaries could actually help John McCain a lot. So remember, we got Florida coming up next Tuesday and Super Tuesday 1 week later. And that's going to tell the tale of just whether John McCain can pull this off. I'm Josh Marshall from TPM Media, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.